What's up, everybody? Today, we've got a few stories about some cheating people that obviously don't end well. Let's get started. First up, my brother is dating my cheating ex. It seems serious, and it's driving a wedge in my family. My ex and I dated for 4 years. We broke up in 2017 after she cheated on me multiple times and tried to keep it a secret. Good news was that I had my full family support. I cut her off, and life was fine. Fast forward to June of this year, and I get dropped with a bombshell from my brother, 2 years younger, that he is now seeing my ex. They ran into each other at a bar and supposedly hit it off and went from there. Apparently, she's a totally new person now or something, and my brother wants me to try and be understanding. Luckily for me, I don't live in the same state anymore, so I haven't been forced with making a decision on seeing them. However, my parents called the other day and asked about my holiday plans at the end of the year. They said my brother and my ex, his girlfriend, will be invited to Thanksgiving and Christmas if they want to come. I absolutely won't stand for it and don't want to see her, and now my family is upset at me. Am I completely insane? I considered posting in other subreddits, but they seem like cesspools. Thanks, guys. I'm losing my mind here. Update. First off, I want to thank you, all of you who responded in the original thread. It motivated me to have a long and uncomfortable conversation with my family last night. I'm going to try my best to summarize the details and feelings of my family as I decide what to do from here. Brother. So we did a bit of a deep dive into the relationship. Essentially, they met at a bar at the beginning of the year. She sought him out and recognized him and approached him. She said she had wanted to apologize to me for the longest time, but I was not close with her, so it didn't work. She basically apologized to me through my brother, but he didn't really want to get in the middle. For some unknown reason, they kept talking and catching up. And I guess they just instantly hit it off. Supposedly, she's been going to therapy and hates who she was then and the things she did. They exchanged numbers and it all went from there. He keeps trying to tell me that I would think she's a different person if I gave her a chance. Still, have no desire to do so. I asked if I ever get brought up, and supposedly, they don't talk about it much because she's ashamed of who she was then. Again, this is all from his perspective, so who knows what's real and what's rose-colored. We basically ended with him saying he's happy and he's sorry for how position this puts me in, but to just try and give them a shot. Mom. For context, my mother is a very religious person, but in my opinion, she represents the best of religion. She's kind, generous, thoughtful, and all that good stuff. But she's also very forgiving, and I think that's where the issue is here. This was the hardest conversation. She admitted she had reservations, but searched within herself to try and find forgiveness if it was meant to be. So she was willing to give it a shot, and she's been happy with the two of them. It seems like they're doing all the right things in her eyes to earn that forgiveness. She started crying, which eats me up, and talked about not wanting to see her family torn up and to try and see if I can find it within myself to give this a shot. She said if I couldn't, that I'd always be her son, and a lot of other motherly stuff that hit me in a gut. I felt like after, but I had to talk to my dad, so I powered through. Dad. He's kind of always been in the if mom's happy, then I'm happy type of mindset. Not much really has changed. He said he knows it's a tough situation, but to see if I can find a way to give it a shot. Luckily, he said if it isn't something I can do, we could do something separate for my brother and his girlfriend for the holidays. My mom has heard about the idea, but he said he'd get her to come around to make sure they get to see both of their sons in some way. So while I was nice to talk and learn more, I still feel stuck in this situation. I don't mind going back home and doing something separate, but not sure if we can dance around the elephant in the room. I told them I'd think about my decision and let them know in a couple weeks. Hope this helps. And if you have more ideas, I'll take them. Thanks, guys. Man. Sorry, OP. This whole story sounds just awful and awkward. Not only are you being put in a difficult position as their son, but you're also being asked to ignore that your brother is with a cheater. And as for your parents, it sounds more like they have 2 sons and just want them around for the holidays. Preferably all together, but willing to be the two Christmas kids to their son's role as divorce. Of course, coping takes a lot more than a little revenge and some jokes, but if you want to laugh during the holidays, just make it super awkward for your bro and ex as you wonder aloud if she tastes any difference in the Yule log. Or ramble about the proper way of stuffing a turkey. Good luck, man. Next up, I found out at 2 a.m. New Year's Day that my wife was having an affair. She kept going for another 8 months. Male 28. I had my first girlfriend when I was 21. She was the first person I slept with too. I loved her. We got engaged and married and moved in together over a 6.5-year relationship. I started getting suspicion of her and one of her workmates who was extremely clingy towards her. There were many red flags, which I ignored as this woman was the love of my life, and my wife. Why would she do anything so bad? But the suspicions kept building as more and more red flags appeared. I confronted her about these things, like him and her messaging constantly. I saw many messages from him to her with rows of heart emojis, how she would always favor going places with him over me, even when I specifically asked if we, me and her, could go together. She took him to a bird park that I love to go to. She had him over for one night when I was away, and the bedsheets were in the washing machine when I got home. I had enough on New Year's when she was purposely being distant from me like I was a bad guy or had done something wrong. I took her phone and found her messages with him. That night confessing to each other how much they loved each other. Obviously, I felt destroyed, but fool me attempted to keep our relationship going. I found they had been sexting each other for weeks afterwards as well, and after a massive argument, she promised to change. Fool me. They continued their thing until August where I found them out again. Before then, there had been instances where she was purposely distant to me. And lo and behold, it was because she was doing things with him. Suspicion crept up again as she went to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, but only had one gym wear in the wash by the end of it. She never was tired or did her fitness change. I demanded a divorce when I found out that she had named a star after him for his birthday, which was just a week or so before mine, as I had enough. She lied to friends and family about what had happened, stating that we were just getting distant and one of different things. I retaliate with throwing everything on the Facebook post, including her confessions for the other guy, the naming the star purchase, photos of them out on trips, which I had no clue of. I'll admit, not my best moment. Probably not fair either. After the divorce, I said I never wanted to hear or speak to her again. This is around 2 years ago, from time of posting, and in that time, she has messaged me twice. Both times, I have completely ignored, but I keep the evidence of what she's did, safe, just in case she tries anything. Honestly, for my first real relationship, it was a roller coaster. 4 months later, 4 days before Christmas, I lost my job and my house and moved back into my mother's. Few years later, and I'm back on my feet with a new job looking for a new house and got back into my karate, which I'm in a Kata squad now and back in touch with lots of friends. Hey, OP, sorry, you went through that. It's insanely tough. It's clear that she had some personal problems that she decided to deal with like a clown instead of being a grown adult. She should have ended the relationship when her interests changed instead of cheating. I hope nothing but the best for you and that you find someone you can have a healthy relationship with. There are so many better people out there, so keep your head up and prep for better days. And rounding out today's stories, I found out my ex cheated on me after 3 years. We broke up. My 20s was an interesting phase for me. I had a great career as a flight attendant. Good income was popular amongst my friends and colleagues, but somehow I ended up dating an emotionally incapable man-child with an equally abusive mum who hated me from the first moment she knew me. It was a 4 years turbulent relationship where eventually he broke up with me with the excuse I fall for a girl so full of life to being with a partner who are angry and upset all the time. Like, how could I not when I was constantly abused by his mom and him being a spineless partner? Anyways, a few months ago, my mom told me this ex called her for a chat. After 3 years, he still lamented on how he was really in love with me, but he just couldn't stand me being so depressed. She's always so angry is what he said. All the time that he chose to prioritize himself first. My mom, sensing he's full of BS, went along with whatever he said by simply being polite and whatnot, but blocked his number immediately after that. A few weeks ago, somebody tipped me off that he got married. The woman he married is the same one his mom had always tried to match back with him. I kinda suspect he cheated on me before, but never had the guts to confront him. Turned out I was right all along. He had cheated on me for half a year before we broke up. In a way, it feels a little weird to have my suspicion confirmed by this revelation, but also a relief to know that I escaped from that situation. It hurts to know that he resorted to blaming me for our failed relationship. It took me years to get over him and therapist overcome the trauma of being in a super abusive relationship. I spiraled down a black hole, a deep one at that. If he tells me his heart is not where it used to be, I would have been more accepting than being told I was the root cause of every problem we had, like his mom hating me because I am such a bad influence for being pressed from the weight of the relationship. The best part about this saga is that he still talks about me to whoever is willing to listen. It rubs me the wrong way. He lets his mom abuse me. He never stood up for me. I carried the bulk of our relationship. Emotionally, I was super taxing, wasn't offered any support from him, and he ended up cheating. Now he wants people to validate his feelings and why he cheated and married the other girl? You know what? Screw you for being a spineless fucktard who couldn't even make a single decision for yourself. I was a good partner to you. I treated you well, but alas, I am a human being prone to mistakes and my own emotional turmoil. He wanted a way out, but too scared to do it himself, so blame it all on me for not being emotionally resilient for him. That hurts. I hope he treats her better than how he treated me. I hope she never had to endure the pain I endured for him being a mindless man. Most of all, I hope I never sacrifice myself that way again. And hopefully, he learns that cheating is not the way to go, but I survived him. That's all. It took me years, but I pulled through. I am so proud of myself. I'm proud of all of you who are still pushing through. Will push through, or whoever has managed to emerge to the other side. Good for you for not accepting the blame for that failed relationship. I imagine I would be where you are 3 years down the road. If I hadn't learned of his cheating and subsequently started a relationship with the girl I suspected feared a month after our breakup was over. The victim game is strong in him, as I'm sure it was with your ex, of blaming me for why the relationship failed when it actually turns out that he just couldn't keep his dick in his pants. Yours may have gone to the extent of marrying his affair, but I can assure you it's not going to last. That's a poor foundation for a relationship. One built on deceit. Hopefully, you have been able to move on and heal from it. It also sounds like he hasn't, if he's still talking about you. So I'd definitely say you're the real winner here. Good luck to you.